It began with a voice that had been silent far too long, but never forgotten, echoing through a tense courtroom as Meri Brown stood and stepped toward the witness stand, the woman who once lived in the shadows of polygamy now walking straight into the spotlight of truth. No cameras were allowed, yet her presence alone would have commanded every lens. Dressed in a navy blazer, blonde hair pulled into a firm knot, she clutched a thick folder filled with years of receipts, emails, and silent sacrifices. Her eyes never flickered, not when she passed Robyn, not even when she met the cold stare of Kody Brown, the man who once promised her equality, dignity, and spiritual partnership. Adjusting the microphone, Meri spoke with a voice steady yet trembling under the weight of decades. "Your Honor, I'm here to take back what was mine, not just as a wife, but as a woman, a mother, a human being." Kody stiffened beside Robyn, jaw locked tight as she continued, "I want what I earned, and I'm not backing down." Murmurs spread as the woman fans had watched break on sister wives, through loneliness, heartbreak, betrayal, and a public catfishing scandal. Finally stood not as the ignored first wife, but as a woman reclaiming her place. Today wasn't about her past wounds, it was about Coyote Pass, the 12-acre dream Kody once promised all 4 wives equally, a promise that had quietly dissolved behind the scenes. Behind Meri, Janelle sat with arms crossed, eyes burning with the same betrayal. 2 women once pushed to the edges of their own stories now standing united. The judge, calm and composed, allowed Meri to proceed, and Meri lifted a series of documents. A 2018 payment she personally made to the family trust for the land, an email from the real estate agent confirming her investment interest, and even the show contract all wives signed agreeing their TV income would fund their shared future homes. "When Kody and I divorced legally in 2014 so he could adopt Robyn's children," Meri said, voice tightening, "I believed our spiritual marriage still mattered. That was a lie." Kody's face hardened while Robyn fidgeted beside him. "I gave 30 years to this family, helped raise a child, contributed to the show that paid for this property, and now I'm told I'm not worth an acre." She gripped the stand. "I surrendered my legal marriage and my voice, but I'm done surrendering." Behind her, Janelle nodded, silently echoing her pain. Meri told the judge this fight was about dignity, not dirt, about promises not rewritten to suit Kody's shifting narrative. The judge questioned her, confirming Meri believed the land was meant to be divided 4 ways and learning Meri didn't discover her name missing from the deed until late 2023. Kody's lawyer objected, insisting Meri contributed spiritually, not financially, but Meri's attorney countered sharply. This family shared every dollar, blending income deliberately, making Meri an unpaid partner in the very enterprise that funded Coyote Pass. Outside, reporters gathered as tension thickened. Meri stared at Kody with a clarity years overdue. Coyote Pass had once been her last fragile hope, the thread she clung to believing she still belonged, but that thread was now gone. Later, Meri and Janelle sat with their attorneys reviewing the Coyote Pass map, for sections once verbally assigned to each wife, but never legally documented. "Not 1 inch has our names," Janelle said, tapping the map, revealing the truth she uncovered when sorting out a tax notice at the county office. Meri had known for months. Betrayal had been slow, hidden under years of gaslighting and shifting promises. She remembered the early Flagstaff nights when Kody described his grand vision for homes, for wives, one legacy. Words Meri clung to after giving up her legal marriage so Robyn's kids could be adopted, words he once soothed her with. "You'll always be my wife in every way that matters." Those words now sounded like warnings. Janelle explained how county records showed only 2 names on every plot, Kody Brown and Robyn Brown. When confronted, Kody claimed he contributed more, so he deserved more, an excuse he used on both women. Their lawyers laid it out plainly. This wasn't just property, it was a breach of trust, possibly constructive fraud, because all income was commingled and promises were made under a shared financial structure. Meri stared at a document titled Land Transfer Filing, 2021, showing Kody transferring one of the plots into joint ownership with Robyn. The betrayal was no longer emotional. It was official, intentional. The tension thickened as Meri and Janelle prepared to return to the courtroom, every whisper from the hallway feeding the storm that Kody never thought would turn against him. Inside, Kody sat rigid, arms folded, trying to maintain the same calm authority he once used to control the narrative of their family, but today the courtroom felt different. Today, the truth had weight. Meri re-entered slowly, her step steady, carrying the exhaustion of 30 years but the strength of a woman who finally understood her worth. Janelle followed, her eyes sharp and unwavering, no longer the wife who once tried to balance Kody's chaotic visions, but a woman now fighting for the legacy she helped build. Their attorneys placed new documents onto the table: financial logs, trust statements, compensation reports from TLC, each page a reminder that this wasn't a spiritual misunderstanding but a financial betrayal, deliberately orchestrated over years. Kody's lawyer rose again, insisting that intent could not be proven, that misunderstandings were common in large families, that Kody had simply managed finances as the head of the household, but Meri's attorney countered with a voice that sliced through the courtroom like glass. She revealed timelines where Kody transferred land, emails where he dismissed Meri's concerns, moments where he assured all wives they were equal, on camera, while drafting legal documents that erased them behind the scenes. The judge's expression shifted, the calm mask replaced by a seriousness that made Kody shift uncomfortably in his seat. Meri watched him, not with hatred but with a clarity she'd never allowed herself before. This wasn't the man she married. This was someone who rewrote their history while smiling for cameras. The judge asked Meri and Janelle to approach the bench, and the room held its breath as both women stepped forward, standing side by side like warriors long denied the right to defend themselves. "Mrs. Brown," the judge began, "are you prepared to provide additional evidence indicating a breach of trust?" Meri nodded, sliding forward a small flash drive containing financial spreadsheets compiled by an outside accountant, proof that the family income had been pooled, spent, and invested collectively, contradicting Kody's lifelong claim that he contributed more. Janelle added her own statement, describing years of property tax payments she believed were being split equally, only to discover she had been paying for land she didn't legally own. Kody's face reddened as her words filled the room. The judge looked toward him with stark disappointment. "Mr. Brown, this information suggests a pattern of deception." Kody opened his mouth to defend himself, but for the first time, no one in the courtroom leaned forward to hear him. Not even Robyn, who sat frozen, eyes glossy, realizing the foundation beneath her had begun to crack. For years, she had been the protected wife, the favored one, the final decision-maker Kody hid behind, but today, she was simply a name on documents that now looked like weapons. The judge announced a recess to review the evidence, and as Meri stepped away, she felt Janelle's hand grip her arm, steady and full of silent solidarity. They walked out together, not as women who once fought for the same man, but as women who finally understood that their voices mattered more than his approval ever did. Outside in the hallway, reporters surrounded them, cameras flashing, microphones jutting forward. For decades, Meri had feared speaking truth would make her look bitter, desperate, or disloyal. But now, standing in the spotlight she never asked for, she realized she wasn't there to expose Kody, she was there to reclaim herself. Inside the courtroom, Kody remained seated, staring down at the documents spread before him, the same ones he never expected to face in a legal battle against the wives he once believed would never challenge him. For the first time, the man who built a family empire on the idea of unity sat alone. And in that moment, the power didn't belong to him. It belonged to the women No mention he of underestimated. the other women, no signatures, no warning. Just Kody and Robyn, a private empire built on deception. Kody's rationalization was audacious. "I paid 92% of the land," he said, smirking during his deposition as if the math made his betrayal undeniable, ignoring that those funds came from family income, show contracts, public appearances, and the relentless work of Meri and Janelle. Meri's lawyer leaned in, sharp and unwavering. "Mr. Brown, whose earnings were these? Didn't they come from work that required the sisters' participation?" Kody stiffened, fumbling, admitting they were involved but insisting he controlled distribution. No TLC oversight, no approvals, just him. The courtroom tension thickened. The truth was unavoidable. Emails revealed Robyn's hand in the shadows, colluding with attorneys to finalize land transfers before the other wives noticed, while Kody orchestrated the entire betrayal. The defense claimed context, but Meri's lawyer countered. Why were the wives never informed? Why were meetings withheld? Why were property taxes still tied to women who own nothing? Silence answered. Weeks before the case, Meri had stood alone at Coyote Pass, wind slicing her coat, pine needles crunching beneath her boots, staring across empty soil where dreams of 4 homes once flourished, remembering Kody's promises of porches, views, family gatherings. Now only lies remained. That rock she picked up marked her line in the sand. In the courtroom, Meri and Janelle were no longer obedient wives. They were adversaries, ready to reclaim what was theirs. The courtroom held its breath as Meri approached the stand, gripping a folder brimming with 40 pieces of evidence: payments, contracts, emails, and TLC correspondence. One by one, she presented proof: deposits from her boutique into the family trust, broker emails confirming investment, and the original 2018 contract signed by all wives guaranteeing equal distribution of income for the Coyote Pass project. Gasps filled the room as she revealed Kody and Robyn had quietly seized full control of all parcels. Emails from Kody's own attorney, read aloud, exposed the intent to sideline the other wives, and Robyn's reply confirmed it. Better if we finalize everything before they notice. Kody sputtered, tried to defend himself, but the judge silenced him. Meri's voice rang clear. She had contributed not only money, but decades of her life, her name, her dignity, and yet she had been erased. Bank statements, $18,200 transfers, 6 confirmations, all ignored by Kody, all ignored by Robyn, yet every cent from shared family earnings fueled their empire. The courtroom, reporters, family, and fans watched in stunned disbelief as Kody's carefully crafted patriarchal mask crumbled, revealing a man who had manipulated trust, controlled finances, and dismissed the women who built everything. Outside, Meri stood tall on the courthouse steps, the cameras flashing, microphones extended, but she did not seek spectacle. She sought justice, equality, and the restoration of her story. Behind her, Janelle mirrored her resolve, and together they left the courthouse not as victims, but as women who refused to be erased, who had finally claimed their voice, their rights, and their legacy. As the judge called the next witness, the atmosphere shifted, heavy and electric, and the room held its breath once more as Robyn rose to the stand, heels clicking, a once confident image now fractured by the inescapable truth closing in around her. The courtroom fell into a suffocating silence as Robyn stepped forward, her polished TLC persona stripped away, replaced by the nervousness of someone suddenly aware of the walls closing in. Every eye followed her heels clicking against the floor, every whisper of paper and chair creak seeming louder than it had a moment before. Meri and Janelle watched, unflinching, as Robyn's gaze flickered between the judge, Kody, and the folder in her trembling hands. Emails, contracts, and bank statements loomed over her like evidence of betrayal she could no longer control. The judge's voice cut sharply through the tension. "Ms. Brown, your testimony regarding the property transfers is clear, and now you may respond." Robyn swallowed, her usual confidence gone, fumbling with legal documents as if they were fire. Kody's jaw tightened beside her, but Meri's eyes were steel, unyielding. "Your Honor," Robyn began, voice wavering. I didn't think," Meri's lawyer interrupted, crisp and relentless. "You did, and you acted. Emails show intent to finalize land ownership without disclosure to the other wives. Explain that." Robyn froze, the courtroom hanging on her every word, every pause. Kody shifted, impatient, but his shadow of control had faltered. The gallery gasped as more documents were presented. Bank transfers showing funds from shared family accounts applied to plots Robyn had registered in her name, conversations between her and attorneys plotting to prevent Meri and Janelle from gaining access. Meri stood quietly, dignified, letting the evidence speak, while Robyn's face paled under the weight of exposure. Kody tried to interject, claiming urgency and necessity, but the judge's gavel silenced him. Enough. The power had shifted. For decades, these women had been silenced, manipulated, and erased, and now the truth was breaking free, undeniable, overwhelming. Outside, reporters scribbled furiously, the air thick with whispers of betrayal and triumph. Meri and Janelle exchanged a glance. No words needed. Their fight had just begun, and the legacy they had been denied for so long was finally within reach. The tension in the room was palpable, every heartbeat synchronized with the anticipation of judgment, every eye watching as the unraveling of a carefully constructed empire began to unfold, revealing greed, deception, and the indomitable strength of the women it sought to suppress. The courtroom was heavy with anticipation as Robyn Brown took the stand, her polished facade stripped away, replaced by a trembling vulnerability that belied the truth she was about to confront. Every step, every hesitant word, hung in the air like fragile glass, and as the oath was administered, the room seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the unraveling to begin. She stammered through explanations, attempting to justify her trust in Kody, claiming ignorance while the emails, contracts, and bank statements stacked before the judge painted a picture of deliberate exclusion and betrayal. Meri and Janelle's decades of investment, loyalty, and effort erased from legal ownership by cunning manipulation. The cross-examination cut through her defenses like a scalpel. Every document, every payment transfer, every signed paper was a nail in the coffin of her excuses, and the gallery could feel the tension crackle as Robyn's composure crumbled, tears streaming, voice breaking, as she muttered over and over, "I trusted him. I didn't mean to hurt anyone." Meri sat unshaken, dignified, her calm resolve a stark contrast to the unraveling of the woman who had participated, willingly or not, in her erasure. For weeks, the courtroom had been a battleground of truth versus deception, and now, with the judge's final decision, justice surged forward like a tidal wave. Verbal, written, and financial agreements recognized, Meri and Janelle's rightful ownership affirmed, Kody and Robyn exposed for their deliberate concealment, and the court ordering reimbursement or equitable division of Coyote Pass within 90 days, leaving Kody powerless, Robyn silent, and Meri finally reclaiming not just land, but her dignity, her voice, and her narrative. Outside, the media frenzy mirrored the court's intensity. Fans erupted in support, praising Meri's courage, her resilience, her unyielding faith in justice. Months later, she stood in her own cabin in Park City, Utah, modest but wholly hers, streaming to the world, coffee cup in hand proclaiming, "I matter," a symbol of triumph over erasure, deception, and years of being told she was not enough. The queen of her own story, Meri had waited patiently, and when the moment came, she didn't just speak. She roared, proving that faith, once manipulated, could be reclaimed, and that true justice is more than winning a battle. It's reclaiming your identity, your power, and your life. After the gavel fell, the courtroom exhaled, but Meri Brown didn't need applause. Her victory was internal, fierce, and absolute. Kody sat silent, defeated, a man stripped of the illusion of control he had clung to for decades, while Robyn slumped, her tears dried but her guilt visible in every line of her face. And outside, the media storm raged, cameras flashing, microphones thrust forward. Yet Meri moved calmly, deliberately, each step measured, each breath claiming the space that had long been denied to her, standing with Janelle by her side, two warriors of truth and resilience who had endured betrayal and invisibility, now finally recognized, validated, and empowered. Weeks later, in the quiet of her own home in Park City, a modest cabin surrounded by snow and solitude, Meri walked through the room she had earned with her life, her hands brushing the walls, each inch a testament to decades of loyalty, investment, and patience, streaming live to her fans as she held her coffee cup, its bold statement, "I matter," facing the camera, and with a steady, unwavering voice, she told the world, "I came here to reclaim more than land. I came to reclaim myself. I came to show that silence doesn't protect you, obedience doesn't own you, and loyalty doesn't mean surrender. I waited, I endured, I fought, and now I rise." Across social media, reactions poured in, awe, admiration, and solidarity. Fans inspired by a woman who had been underestimated, belittled, and erased, now standing tall, rewriting her story, proving that courage isn't loud, it's steadfast, calculated, and when finally unleashed, it resonates louder than any spotlight ever could. Meri Brown, once pushed to the shadows, now claimed her throne, not over a house or land, but over her own life, her narrative, and her unshakable dignity, showing the world that justice isn't given, it's claimed, and she had claimed it with the power of truth, evidence, and unwavering resolve.